All right. Well, I'm so excited here tonight because what we have here in the house is a very good friend of mine. Pastors one of the greatest churches in America, fastest growing church in America, one of the most impactful church. What a perfect name for a church called Impact Church. I thought Inspire was a great name. I think Impact is an even greater name. And all the way from Scottsdale, Arizona, I've already done an introduction, but I just want to do it again. I want to honor this man of God right here. And would you please welcome Pastor Travis Hearn to the podcast. Pastor Travis, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you. So tell me about Hawaii. How often do you guys get to come to Hawaii with your family?
We don't come often. We've been a few times, so we love it and excited to be here again. My oldest daughter, she played college basketball, so she was out here every year.
Right.
You know, so she got a little bit spoiled, but
that's good. That's good. It's good to have you. And I'm really excited because I was able to preach at your church about a month ago, and what a crazy, amazing place. It's hopping. Tell us how long have you been doing this?
Yeah. Well, I've been pastoring our church. I took over a small church, and the church was a Bible study, originally a Bible study for the Arizona Cardinals football team.
Okay.
And that Bible study open to the public. And so I always tell our church today, welcome to the Arizona Cardinals Bible study, because it's literally the seed of the Arizona Cardinals.
So you became
14 years.
Okay, so you were the chaplain of the Cardinals, or you still are?
Nope. So
okay.
I am currently only still the chaplain for the Phoenix Suns. I have been the chaplain for the Cardinals, and I have been the chaplain for Major League Baseball for about 12 years.
How did that happen? How does one become a chaplain for a professional sports team?
I didn't even know it existed, so I don't know. Do you want the spiritual answer or the logical answer?
Combination of both. Anyone.
Okay. Here's the combination of both. The spiritual answer is that I felt. I grew up playing basketball, baseball, football, got saved at the end of my senior year in high school. It was a radical salvation. I got a DUI, I got put in jail. Mom picked me up, gave my life to Christ. It was the end of my senior year. It's February 20th, 1993.
Wow.
And so I did not go play college basketball, and instead went to school to learn the Bible. And I actually did not play in my all-star game my senior year because I had signed up to go on a missions trip. And so the all-star game was something I had looked forward to since I was a little boy. I went every year to watch. So this would have been like the first time I got to play in it.
What state is this in?
Arizona, state of Arizona.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're growing up in Phoenix, balling.
Yep.
And
so
what was your love? What sport was your love? Basketball?
Basketball. Yeah, I was the quarterback, football team, catcher, baseball, point guard, basketball. Basketball. Yeah, basketball.
Shout out to the high school. Which one?
Yeah. It's Wickenburg High School.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's about an hour from where you were.
Okay. So you thought you were headed to play college basketball.
Yeah. You remember, because life was so different back then. There was no internet. There were, a scout came to watch you, and if they didn't, you're kind of out of luck.
Yeah.
And so I was uncommitted, unrecruited, and then was going to seal the deal at the All-Star game, and that's where all the coaches would go. And so it was a big decision. Instead, I went on a missions trip.
Okay.
The story is a little more intense than that. It was like I got saved, radically saved, got plugged into the church, filled with the Holy Ghost, dumped into the ocean. And then a missionary came through talking about these mission trips that they do. And it was one of those moments where I just really felt God was calling me to go to this 10-day trip to Mazatlan on a missions trip. So signed up, raised the money, paid to go, did all the trainings to go. And about early May, I got this packet in the mail that said, congratulations, you made your Arizona All-Star team. Oddly enough, it was the exact same dates as the missions trip, beginning to end. Wow. Literally the same 10 days. So as a 17-year-old, because I graduated high school at 17, I had to make a pretty major decision. Because for me, that was like you know because you grew up playing. That was everything. I mean, that was literally everything. So it was my Isaac, so to speak. And did I want to play in that All-Star game? Yeah. The missions trip, like, God, what do I do? And it was so my spiritual answer is I laid down my Isaac, and God opened up doors for me to do pro sports ministry stuff some I didn't even know existed. So that's the spiritual answer.
So how did the door open for you to enter into
the
three sports teams?
Yep. And so the kind of the logical, life is about relationships, right? And so Arizona is like one of the spring training capitals of the nation. So you got Florida and Arizona for all the spring training teams. So half Major League Baseball is in Arizona. Yeah. So I got a call from the Kansas City Royals.
Wow.
And actually, they wanted to know if I would help them with spring training and extended and majors and minors. So every team has, like, spring training. People start reporting in January, pitchers and catchers. Then positional players start reporting in early February. Pretty soon the whole team's there. Spring training March. Then you have extended in April. Then you have rookie ball all the way to August. Then you have Arizona Fall League. So I started with the Royals.
Wow.
And the same year, 2002, a guy that I played football against, he was the coach. I was the quarterback. He coached against me. He wanted to have lunch because now I was doing Pro Sports Chapel, and he, at the time, was the chaplain for the Suns and the Cardinals.
Wow.
So he had me come fill in doing chapels. I filled in 15 times in 2002. And so he was actually leaving and moving out of the state. And so it opened up a spot, and the Suns brought me on.
So what's that like in the beginning? Was it intimidating for you to talk to professional athletes? And how did you get comfortable?
Yeah, I was terrified. I was terrified, especially because I'm like 25 years old. I'm like 25, 26 years old. And it's so different because, like, at the time I'm a youth pastor, and like a crowd is one thing, but walking into somebody's locker room and you're not one of them, you're like a foreigner walking into their space. That was intimidating. I had a guy, a mentor, he said, his name was Mike Lasardi, a pro sports chaplain. He went to be with the Lord a couple years ago. Great guy. And he said, Travis, I want to tell you something before you walk into that locker room. And he just looked me in the eye and he said, behind every face, there's a drama unfolding. And that helped me. That honestly kind of set me free. And it's been one of those little sayings that have stuck with me forever. Like, yeah, you know what? There might be famous people in there and rich people in there, but they're people. Yeah. And if you cut them, they bleed. And if you hurt them, they hurt. Yeah. And so I was still nervous. I was still, like, the first year I saw Shaq and Kobe, they were playing for the Lakers, walking right at me in the hallway by the locker room, and I was like, oh my word, this is crazy. I called my wife. I got around the corner. I was like, babe, Shaq's leg is the size of my entire body. I mean, it was crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what kind of messages, what do you give? Like, I'm a high school chaplain, but what do you do? What kind of message content do you give to these guys, and how many minutes do you have to do it in?
So I always say chapel service is almost like the gateway into pastoring them, because the chapel, whether it's baseball, NFL, MLB, they're all different. I mean, NBA. So with baseball, they do it on Sunday morning. That's their chapel. So that's why I had to let baseball go, because eventually the church got too big. I couldn't do it Sunday mornings. Right. So I had to tell those guys I couldn't do it. The Cardinals, the NFL does chapel the night before the game at home, right? So they have 8 home games. Every NFL team has 8 home games. On Sunday, typically, but the Cardinals, they stay at the team hotel at home. The organization makes the players stay in a hotel, even though you're at home.
Yeah.
You know, keep them focused, keep them from going out and doing something stupid, or you know, you got a baby at home, something like that.
Can't sleep.
So theirs is the night before. The NFL is about a 30-minute chapel. Major League Baseball is about 20 to 25. The NBA is 15 minutes. So every team has a 15-minute chapel at 1 hour before tip-off. So 60 minutes. We go by the shot clock in the arena. We don't go by watch. We go by the shot clock. So when the shot clock hits 60, we start. When it hits 45, we're done. They have a meeting at 43 in the locker room.
Wow.
So to answer your question, you know, I've been with the Suns for 22 years. We've covered every topic you can possibly imagine in a chapel, but it ends up being like we sit in a circle. It's devotional. It's interactive. You know, they'll have questions. We talk about them. We answer them. Open with prayer. Close with prayer requests. That's kind of the NBA vibe.
I would imagine that that you're talking amongst these guys that you had to earn trust in those circles, whether the NBA, the NFL, the Major League Baseball.
No question.
Tell me about the confidence. You have to keep confidences. You have to earn trust. Where did you feel? At what point did you feel like I got these guys' trust? They trust me.
You're right. It's earned. A pro athlete, especially one that has a pretty good contract, they get taken advantage of over and over and over and over and over. And so everybody becomes, I'm starting to see life jaded. If I'm a pro athlete, I start to see like, what do you actually want from me? What do you want from me? What do you want from me? So one way to earn the trust is I don't want anything. You never ask for anything. You never want anything. You're just there to give. Give. And so over time, the trust is built. And it's a small family. The NBA is 400 basketball players. I mean, NFL, small family, same thing.
I heard on the podcast the other day that there's only no more than 5,000 Jason Williams, white chocolate. He was on the podcast the other day. He said that there are only 5,000 men that have ever played in the NBA. 5,000 and something. Amazing, right? And now this year you've got 400, but then God has given you, what, 15 to speak into?
Yep.
And some coaches probably?
Yep. Yeah, usually it's a 13-man roster, coaches, personnel that is specifically team, not Phoenix Suns personnel, but the actual team.
Wow.
So if it's a manager, if it's a coach, if it's an assistant coach, if it's the, you know, so my chapel, we've even got the GM, James Jones. We've got the assistant GM. We've got her assistant and 3 or 4 coaches, and probably 9 players. 9. Yeah. So it's a great turnout.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you get from being a chaplain? Walk us down through the journey of being a chaplain, and now you are a pastor in one of the greatest churches in America. How did that happen?
So I started, you know, I was a youth pastor in Arizona in Phoenix, and that's when I started with baseball and basketball, the NBA and MLB. So then in 2009, Natalie and I, my wife and I, were thinking about starting a church in Scottsdale, and we wanted to be in Scottsdale specific. That's where all the athletes live, and Scottsdale's kind of, I always say it's kind of like the Beverly Hills of Phoenix.
Beautiful place, beautiful,
gorgeous city, and so actually the Assemblies of God was trying to get me to take a church that was basically an empty building. They were going to give me the building for this paid off $3.5 million building in Scottsdale. And well, that kind of led to me looking at the area, connected with this church down the road that I pastor now. That church was a small church, 200 people. They started, you know, recruiting and courting me to come be the pastor, non-denominational church. And so after prayer and fasting, we felt it was God. And so July 25th, 2010 was our first Sunday. About a year into it, we renamed it, rebranded it, remarketed it. Andre Wadsworth is my executive pastor. He played football for the Arizona Cardinals, played football for Florida State. He was a walk-on at Florida State.
Wow.
And then earned a full ride at Florida State, and then was the number 3 draft pick behind Peyton Manning was number 1. Andre was number 3. So
wow.
Andre had started a Bible study for his teammates when he played for the Cardinals. That Bible study was turned into a church for the public. I was not involved. He was involved as the founder, but he wasn't a pastor of the church or anything. And then in 2009, that pastor left and moved to California to start his own deal. My wife and I took the church over, and then Andre, I asked him to be my executive pastor. I said, if I'm going to do this, you want to do it with me? And so that was 14 years ago. So we've been building and building and building, and he's my best friend, and he's my he's my guy. He's a good man. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and so we had a Bible study together for pro athletes called Impact Pro Athletes. We did it in a mansion in Paradise Valley, up on the mountain, overlooked the city. We were having like 80 players coming: Cardinals, Suns, Diamondbacks, golfers, motocross, horse, I don't know what you call them, racers,
jockeys.
Jockeys, yeah. We were having, like, if you were a pro, you were invited. And so so when I was praying about what to name the church, I wanted a one-word purpose statement and something that basically said the Great Commission. And I was like, oh, impact, like our Bible study. Let's go with impact. Be impacted by God and make an impact for God. And by the way, Inspire Church is a super dope name. That's a cool name.
Yeah.
That's a cool name.
Yeah. Inspire, Impact. They're both amazing names.
Great names.
I remember when I pulled up to your...
No. Those are the best 2 church names in the world.
Yeah?
Inspire and Impact.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Those are fire right there.
Not kind of church has got 5 names, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Greater Mount Zion. No,
Right. Tabernacle. Yeah.
Sorry about that. If you got... That's the name of your church.
That's yours. It's all good.
Yeah. So, you've been at it for, you said, 12 years. Senior pastor.
14.
14 years.
Well, this July 25th will be 14.
14 years. Amazing.
Yep.
Incredible. Tell us, what is how do you blend that? How do you blend chaplain for your life, to be a chaplain and a pastor all at the same time? How do you separate it? How do you combine it? What's your philosophy and how do you make that work?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever thought about that. It's all together. I had an athlete, I had an NBA player 15 years ago tell me in the locker room, in the chapel room, he said, if you plant a church in Scottsdale, I will be your first attender and first member. And I said, why would you say that? That's really cool, man. And he said, I can't go to church. And I said, why can't you go to church? He said, I went to church with my mother-in-law in Arizona. He's 6'8". He said, I'm standing on the aisle. I sit on the aisle because I'm 6'8". And he goes, the pastor made us all stand for prayer. He goes, I'm standing, I'm praying. Somebody taps me on the shoulder during prayer. He goes, I look like this. He goes, somebody's got a pen and a piece of paper. It's an usher.
Can I get your autograph?
It's an usher. Yeah. It's an usher, like, hook me up, brother. So, yeah, I think for us, we don't know any different. I mean, we have, everybody comes, but it is, if you're an athlete and you're a pro athlete and you have any kind of celebrity, even if it's local celebrity, you feel very comfortable at Impact Church. Nobody asks for autographs. Nobody's getting pictures. We established that very, very early on. And our area is kind of like, you see them everywhere anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like, whoa, there's, so-and-so.
I thought it was amazing that how you're able to manage all of this, and what a great team that you have. Pastor Andre.
Great team.
He's awesome.
Great team.
Garrison. great team. I was particularly impressed with, honestly, with the worship.
Yeah.
And I heard that you play a role in that. Tell me what kind of role you play in your worship teams.
So I always say music is my hobby. Like I love music, and I was a worship leader. I play several different instruments. I don't know. It's just my passion. I think every pastor, every leader, they have certain passions, and so I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to build, as far as not only the sound, but the character, the people, because I've been in it long enough, sadly, that sometimes people are in it for the wrong reasons, or they're prima donnas, or they're drama, or they're people, they're human. Yeah. So it's like, man, I know what I want.
Those creative types.
Yeah, the creative types, exactly. So, but yeah, I'm in the middle of that. That's the one. That's the one ministry. I am in the middle of it. Yeah, the very center.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not to the degree that you are, but I think I'm in it. I feel like I am the lead worship leader.
You are.
Yeah. I come up. I'll grab the mic. I'll start
sing
the
a
song
little
off.
something. Let's hear it. Let's hear it right now.
What song? Name a song.
Give us some Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace.
That's a good one. You can go.
Okay, I'll do Amazing Grace.
You can get down with that.
I can get down with it.
Yeah.
Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Give me something harder. Come on. Just kidding.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you what song that you guys started playing that I can't get out of my head. And it's, hey, what's that new song? Go on. We were playing on Sunday. Then Sunday, I just, what? I can't.
Read lips.
I can't read lips from that far. But I'm telling you.
But it's really good.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good you can't remember it. But I mean, it's good.
Well, there's a 1,000 men around us. I'm kind of feeling under the pressure a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And yeah, every now and then I'll tell Darian, I'm going to pull my number. Just get ready. I'm going to pull my number. And now I love worship. I was a worship leader. I was a youth pastor. And I'm finding out more similarities.
Yeah, a lot of commonalities.
Playing every single sport. Never had a break.
Yep. Same.
And when I did have a day break, we got into a lot of trouble in one day.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
You know, a lot of trouble in one day.
Get in trouble in a hurry.
Yeah. And so
you can stack trouble up in a hurry. Yeah.
One wrong move.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
So who's been those guys in your life, older, that you would say as a pastor, who's like, okay, so a lot of what you do is, I'm going to guess, is intuitive. It's anointing, it's caught, maybe some taught. But if there were anybody in your life that said, these guys have given me a pattern, this guy's showed me how to grow, how to break my first barrier by 1,000 to thousands. Who's those guys that you would say?
Man, Pastor Mike, I'm probably a really strange bird in the vein of ministry, because I didn't get saved until the end of my senior year in high school. That pastor and his brother, who is the worship leader, they're still in my life. I talk to them monthly, but maybe even more often than that. They're small church pastors, but they are just on fire men of God. I've had mentors here and there, but I think it helped me not to grow up in it. It helped me not to grow up in it, because I came into the church from the outside looking in, and I remember thinking, like, that's weird, or that's not weird, or that, they don't want something fabricated. You want something real, something authentic, something powerful. Got some great mentors that, for example, Rick Warren, he's a mentor, a friend, mentor. But we're not like close, but he's a mentor. And so I just think there's people in my life that I've learned a little bit maybe from here or there, but just study, man, research, and just work. figure it out, think, work, pray, let God lead you, let God guide you. And I think, the uniqueness is probably that, just because I don't think I really would peg somebody and go, that's who,
Yeah.
you know?
There's people along the journey of
There's
your life.
people along the journey.
Some people bring them in, God brings them in, and sometimes it's not that you don't use them by any means, but then they slowly exit. You know what I mean? And you'll always be friends, but then God brings you somebody else into your life. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I love that you've had the continuity of relationship, that they're small church pastors, but you still honor them. You've got thousands, but they have a seat at the table of your life.
They're my pastors, no question.
Wow.
I was just on the phone with Melvin Thursday, and we were on the phone for 2 hours, both of us crying, praying, and we bury one another's burden. But they're my pastors. I mean, they're my people. So and you can never replace somebody that led you to the Lord.
Yeah.
It's that there's just such a special place. They know the word. Sometimes I'm, researching and prepping a sermon, and I'll text one of them like, "Hey, what do you got on this? Tell me what you think about this." And the word doesn't. If it's 5 people you're preaching to, or 50,000, the word's the word.
Yeah.
So So I think you're right. They have a seat at the table forever.
Praise God, bro.
Yeah.
I love that. So, you ran out of room. You're looking for another place, or are you going multi-site, or are you gonna go another bigger place?
Yeah, both. So the building you preached in, that we just moved in there 2020, December 6th of 2020. So we were in a building before that.
So you got in during the pandemic then?
Yeah, we raised $9 million during the pandemic, and
That's amazing.
I mean, we didn't know it was going to be obviously a pandemic when we started into the money journey.
Yeah.
But we did it. God did it. Our people did it, and we did a $9 million renovation of a retail space. It's basically an indoor trampoline facility, and then on the other side of that was a fitness center, and then on the other side of the trampoline was a learning center, like tutoring. And they all 3 happened to go out of business at the same time. We made our move, and we were able to get all 3 spaces at the same time. So we moved originally from 20,000 square feet in our old building, sold that. This one's about 60,000 square feet, seats 1,700 adults.
1,700?
Mm-hmm.
That thing is huge.
It's pretty big.
Oh, yeah.
It's deceivingly big, yeah.
Oh, that thing is big, man.
Yeah.
It's big. Like, I'm looking back and, hello, like,
Yeah.
deep.
We need to do some risers or something, like some theater seating.
We got some. You'll see it.
I heard you guys are gonna make me jealous.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen.
The next building, or even in your next build out of that one.
Yeah, exactly.
You just never know.
But yeah, we're trying to build a 4,000 seat, like a mini arena, basically. Might be a little bit more, but four would be conservative, but also multi-site. Yeah, I mean,
That's incredible.
I think we have to.
Yeah, you have to.
We have to.
Yeah. Especially
we-
nowadays.
And we have no idea what we're doing. So that, that really is a testament to God, because, we don't know what we're doing. I didn't grow up in church. Andre is a football player. Like, you got 2 guys that literally don't know what they're doing. So we're at this space where we're like, we don't know what we're doing again. So how do you do a second location, a third location? Like, how do you just keep trying, man. Keep going at it.
Yeah. Keep doing it.
Keep going at it.
Pastor Travis, we can catch up a lot more later on, but I want everybody to know that he's going to preach in about 20 minutes. So we've done a really good interview. There's so many questions left on the table that we probably haven't hit, but we'll get to that another time.
Yeah. All right.
We'll get to that another time. I want to get you upstairs, get you ready. And for everybody watching the podcast, it's been amazing. And thank you so much for coming in a little bit earlier, fighting the Hawaii West Side traffic to get here.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that traffic was crazy.
You know what? So here's my perspective. These men, for them to come on a Friday after spending 1 hour in traffic going to work.
Let's go.
And 1 hour in traffic coming home.
Let's go.
They clean up, wash up, and they come here. They're hungry.
That's
they are
hunger.
ready.
That's hunger.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, man.